What's the most absurd reason you've heard of someone canceling their marriage? Totally real and legitimate but crazy. Scheduled to get married in 2021. During lockdown, fiancé was out of work and went QAnon crazy. Didn't want his future wife to get vaccinated. She did. That night she woke up to him running a magnet over her body. He said he was seeing if she was chipped or magnetized by vax and was happy that she wasn't. She asked what he would do if he found it and he said cut it out of you. And that was the last straw, thank God. Wedding was couple weeks away at that point and they lost ton of money, but she escaped the crazy. My mom was engaged to be married to her high school sweetheart, let's call him Bob. Bob went to her doorstep 2 weeks before their wedding and told her he had joined the military and wasn't ready for marriage. He flew to Germany the next day. Fast forward 30 years and 2 divorces later, my mom was single with 5 children from 2 marriages. She runs into her old high school sweetheart, Bob. He is also single and recently divorced. They fall in love and have been together ever since. Spoiler alert, Bob is actually his name. I had a soldier in the army that got married 3 times in the same year. I don't remember which wife it was, but he terminated one of his marriages because his wife allowed him to shit on her chest. His reason was that he could no longer respect a woman that would allow him to do that to her. This is precisely why I say marriage should be reserved for kids that are at least 25-27 years old. Yeah, some kids mature faster than others, but a lot of people take way longer than others. A friend of mine dated a guy for 8 years, they were young, it started in high school. Had the wedding all planned and mostly paid for. A month before the wedding she found him stealing her money and gambling with it. She ended up selling her dress on eBay. Gave the ring back to his best friend, who it turns out paid for it. Then eventually married the best friend. They are still happily married 10 years later with a cute little boy. Late to the party. Guy dates girl, guy says he doesn't want kids, girl does, but they enjoy each other's company so they keep dating for a while. Guy proposes, girl says yes. No talk of kids. The story they tell is, guy proposed thinking if she days yes she changed her mind. Girl thinks, he's proposing, he must have changed his mind. No one talks about kids until about a year in. No one has changed their minds. Amicable divorce. The best man said in his speech that he slept with the bride about 2 weeks before the wedding. All hell broke loose. The groom demanded that the marriage be cancelled. It took a few days to get the truth out for the groom to finally listen. The best man thought it'd be a great prank. The groom was apologetic to the bride, but she didn't forgive him. Because he believed in others' lives won't let her talk. Many years ago, I was living with a girlfriend and her 2 young kids. We decided to get married, and things are good. 2 weeks before the wedding, she says she can't marry me because she realized she couldn't change me. She hands me $1,000 and gives me a week to move out. I guess she decided she wanted someone else, and I wasn't it. A woman I worked with was a Mormon and he was not. His parents did not like her because of her religion. Since he was not religious, they decided that they would have a non-religion ceremony. The invitations were sent out in a couple of weeks before the wedding. It was called off. His parents convinced him not to marry her. Family member very nitpicky left her husband after 2 months of marriage for constantly leaving his socks on the floor. To this day talks about what an amazing man and partner he was if only he put his dirty socks in the hamper instead of on the floor. My girlfriend and I were going to get married, but we forgot to actually do it once we got everything set up. Courtroom marriage with just the 2 of us. Forgot all about it till we got the letter from the county asking for the marriage certificate back. My cousin called it off 3 days in advance because the bride and groom couldn't agree on whether to hyphenate their last names, or use his. In retrospect, there was a significant class culture divide of which that was merely one symptom. One of my friends was engaged and is Catholic. Her husband had to convert and he had a dream where he was in a Catholic church but not getting married. He was a priest. So he had a vision of becoming a priest and now the wedding is off. Bride canceled the wedding a week before because she was a hardcore Disney adult and she was offered a temp job at Disney and felt she couldn't miss the opportunity of her dreams. They realized after everything was already planned, invites sent out etc. that they didn't like the date. They moved it to 2025 so there wouldn't be a 4 in their wedding date. Bride ended up getting gangbanged at her bachelorette party by strippers. One of the bridesmaids filmed it and put it online. Bride's grandpa found it and told the groom. The dude was living a double life, had a whole another family in different states, said he traveled for work to actually back and forth between family and fiancé. Guy I went to school with called off his engagement when his fiancé admitted she was pregnant with her dad's baby, and it was a very consensual situation. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Almost married to Mass Effect game character Miranda Johnson till I realized it wasn't really her. There is no absurd reason to cancel a marriage. If there's any doubt at all, for any reason, no matter how trivial, don't fucking do it. Cause the man was gay and she was just his test to see if he could love a girl. She was heartbroken, but had her suspicions about him. My friend realized that his girl never opens her mail and just lets it pile up. He said it's a triangular flag on post. Cancel? Ha ha ha. Divorce is expensive. You can cancel cable. You go to court for a divorce because she's more in love with the guy at the gym that's 17 years younger.